Welcome everyone to the first ever Student State of the University address in Case Western Reserve University's history. So today, thank you. So it was my vision that we could find a way to allow the students of Case Western Reserve University to better learn about what's going on at the university and to better interact with some of the student leaders at the university. And particularly today, the leaders of the Class Officer Collective, the Interfraternity Congress and Panhellenic Council, the Residence Hall Association, University Program Board, Media Board, and the Undergraduate Student Government. So we're all here today to give you a brief overview of kind of what's going on in each of our realms, what we see are the major things going on at the university, and what are the major things affecting the undergraduate student body today. So first off, we're going to invite the Class Officer Collective up to the podium. Zeyad Schwen will be speaking. He's the Senior Class President, and he'll be speaking about class unity and participation among classes.
Hello, everybody. My name is Zeyad Schwen. Over the years I've been a part of this university, I've observed many great traits and qualities of our students that make Case Western Reserve University such a unique and special place. Unfortunately, as many of you have already noticed, demonstrating school spirit and school unity is not our forte. Our athletics program is hardly supported. Our traditions events are sparsely attended. And we continue to remain unenthusiastic about the university that offers its students so many. For those of you who haven't noticed, our athletic program dominates. Our traditions are exceptional, and yet our university experience is still lacking. It is about time we change our lethargic attitude and realize how great our university really is, how phenomenal our football and soccer teams are, how fun Springfest, the Hudson Relays, can be, and most importantly, how special and unforgettable our university experience would be if everyone participated. So get up, become more active on campus, support your classmates, bring your friends, and make more friends. Immerse yourself in the rich traditions of our university. Cheer for your Spartans at the top of your lungs. And 40 years from now, talk about how great your university experience was at Case Western Reserve University. Thank you.
Thanks, Zeyad. For all of those of you who came in a little bit late, I just want to remind everyone that we do have lots of free food in the back, and free food is something that every student likes, I know. So if you guys want it to at any time, feel free to go over and get some free food. We have some hot chocolate that you can put chocolate into, as well as whipped cream. That's double hot chocolate, so it's getting crazy back there. All right, the next group that we'll invite up to the podium are the presidents of the Interfraternity Congress and the Panhellenic Council, and they will be talking about more non-Greek participation in Greek programs and school spirit.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kathy Ward. I'm the Panhellenic Council president. And one of the issues that I think everyone's probably heard Greek Life talk about before is getting more non-Greek participation in our Greek events. I don't know if students don't realize that even though we have things like Greek Week that really do seem very secluded to just us, we would love for everyone to come around and look at our banners that we have out on the quad and come watch us in rope pull and just see us sitting in the mud. It's a really good time, and I think that students really tend to think that Greek events are closed, but we would really love to have more participation in these things. We have a lot of events like the Leadership Conference. We have a faculty forum on SAGES coming up that we really try to tailor to be open to everyone, and if we could have more non-Greeks, I think that it could really help build a sense of school spirit and community like Zeyad's talking about between both the Greeks and non-Greeks here. So please come out to our events because we would love to see you there.
Morning, everyone. My name is George Jenkins. I'm the president of IFC, and I'll be expanding on what Zeyad said. The students and faculty at CASE take great pride in the university for its strict admission standards, reputation for great academics, and tremendous contributions to research. However, scholastic achievement is not the singular purpose of the university. To truly become the most powerful learning environment in the world requires that we reinvigorate our lackluster school spirit. The first ever home football game at Case Field in 2005 had a near-capacity crowd of 2,300. Yet, 3 years later, after an undefeated regular season, a trip to the NCAA playoffs, and an enviable national ranking, attendance at the 2008 home opener was about one-third of that. The men's basketball team's last home game didn't even draw 100 people. Case can boast that in the past 2 years it has had 11 All-American athletes. Case women's cross-country team wrapped up the season ranked nationally at number 10, same for the soccer team. And again, the football team, going to the NCAA playoffs for the second time and having another undefeated season, finished number 8 in the nation. And still, no packed stadiums, no shared pride among the student body. Schools that deliver great academics and provide a strong sense of community through school spirit can reap both short and long-term benefits for their efforts. Consider the atmosphere we, as an institution, want to cultivate. As a quick example, an environment of belonging compels students to stay the course when things get tough. That is, the shared pride can lead to better retention rates. When comparing Case to Notre Dame, an institution with roughly the same admissions and academic standards and of roughly the same size, but with far surpassing Case in terms of student spirit, we find that Case has a freshman retention rate of 91.5%, but Notre Dame maintains an average of 97.8%. Graduation rates between the two universities are even more disparate at 81 and 95% respectively. This is not to imply that the Cali Green student section at the Notre Dame Stadium is the sole reason for their high rates, but it does give us something to consider. Notre Dame must be offering something beyond cut and dry academics. Greater school spirit will boost our visibility in the local and national spotlight. This will help us attract even more well-qualified, motivated, and eager students. Satisfied students grow up to be benevolent alumni. Benevolent alumni want to contribute to their university's success. Local merchants and officials want to bring themselves near well-rounded, successful universities. And again, successful universities bring in those outstanding freshmen. It's a cyclical sequence that builds upon itself. I ask you among us to consider how we can jumpstart our collective spirit. We should first look at those things around us that are already sources of great pride. We must learn from them and build off our established centers of school spirit, the Hudson Relays and Springfest, Greek Life, and Welcome Back Days, and expand from them to include more of the student body until we can all say that we're damn proud to be Case Western Spartans. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathy and George. So I guess, one of the things that you can take away here is to get involved. So the next group that we'll invite to the podium is the Residence Hall Association. We'll be inviting their president, Grace Bell, to talk about security, housing maintenance, residential community, and the housing selection process.
It is my distinct pleasure to speak with all of you today about the issues and challenges facing the offices of housing and residence life. As students, we often wonder, what is the administration doing for all of us? And what is being accomplished in the areas of campus life and residence life? However, as young adults, we must also ask, what is our role in the campus community and what is our role in residence life? It is with this understanding of student duty and residential community that I speak with all of you today. I also came to speak about the snow. If the 2 feet of snow that you just drudged through to come out here today wasn't warning enough, it's winter in Cleveland. And whether or not you've experienced before or this is your first blessed time, I want to warn you, I've never purchased so many scarves before in my life. In addition to the snow, this cold is especially hard on our residential halls. Now, to their credit, they are consistent. For every pipe that did burst at the same temperature. But the Case police, to their credit, also responded immediately. After receiving a false alarm from one of the buildings, the emergency maintenance, facility services, housekeeping services, and maintenance responded immediately to the winter leaks. They patched the leaks and removed the excess water, and this effort of teamwork is the continuing proof that our residential halls is a community. But the question is, what is your role as a student in this residential community? Participation in maintenance requests by submitting them if you see an elevator is down, or if you see that a door cannot open. You need to participate in the housing selection process as well by participating in the process, submitting your room selection requests on time, and coming to the lottery. It is your job as a student to participate in these processes. The housing and residence life offices cannot do all of their work for you, and it is your duty as a student to participate. The other thing that I would like to come and speak to you about today is common spaces and community rooms. Each residence hall building at the Case Western Reserve University has a community space, a space that you can gather to study, a space that you can gather for social experiences. And as you've already heard from other student leaders, it is very evident that we need a more community-based feeling at this university. Utilize your spaces, but you also must keep them clean. No housekeeping staff is going to clean up and move your laundry. They're not your mother. We're all in college. You need to actually clean up your spaces as well as keeping your own rooms clean. In the upper class and second year halls, they will come and clean your bathroom, and that is probably the nicest thing any of you will get in an apartment. But you also must clean your bathrooms so that they can do the deep cleaning efforts that their job, and so that they can complete their job as well. The last thing I would like to speak about is security on campus, which is also a student and university effort. For the students, I would like to say casa to you all, which means house in Spanish. Be confident, be alert, be smart, and be active. You need to take advantage of the opportunities that the campus is offering you. You need to be alert when you walk, and you need to be active and be an active participant in your community, and you need to be confident. All of you are intelligent people, and that is why you are part of this university community. Please use your minds. Do not walk by yourself at night. The other thing that the university is doing is by instituting community officers between the hours of 7 p.m. and 3 a.m. These officers will be in plain clothes. There will be one in the North Residential Village for residence life and Greek housing. There will be one on South Residential Village and one for the areas in between. These officers will be in plain clothes. They will be in your residence halls. The idea is to build community. Please get to know these officers. They will be in your halls. They will be on your walkways. Please get to know them. And the idea is that by building a community with your police officers, you will be more able to give them advice and to let them know what is going on in the campus so that they can better serve you. The university is here to serve the students, and I'm very proud that the university is working in this regard. But it is also the students' job to serve the university. We have all come here. It is our duty to kind of give back to the university and be a participatory piece in the process. Now, I know I'm preaching to the choir here because all of you are here participating in the process, but I hope to all of you that you bring these back to the students that you represent here, that you bring it back to your halls and to people in your apartments and to people in your classes, because it is not the job of a few students to participate, but it is the job of the entire university to become an active role in this community.
Thanks, Grace. That was certainly a very informative security piece that I think everyone can, take a take-home message from. Okay, the next group that we'll invite up to the podium is the University Program Board, and specifically their president, Ben Meck. Ben Meck will be talking about the state of programming at the university and the need for more involvement and collaboration in our living and learning environment.
Pretty much everybody today so far has been encouraging you to participate more, but what I came up, the state of programming, I think, has improved dramatically in the 4 years that I've been here, and I think we all have something to be proud about. There's more students involved than ever before. We have more events on campus than ever before, and more collaborative events. Our sports are doing better. I can't tell you how many of my high school friends in college right now are jealous, A, that we have a 2-week finals break, and B, that I have a study over where I can go and get free massages and free food all night. I mean, that alone, I think, says something. There's also events like Relay for Life and Springfest, and everyone's mentioned all of those events, which we have a lot to be proud about because they've improved so much over the years. One thing that I think is very telling of our campus is how responsive and receptive our campus is to feedback. I think the administration and each of the student organizations on campus have that opportunity to respond to feedback and have changed their ways to be more effective programmers, speaking from a programming perspective, more effective programmers and more effective in dealing with the issues that the students have brought up and issues that everyone needs to address. Housing's addressing the security issue. Greek life is addressing participation as well as class unity and stuff like that. I think all of these, the fact that these are issues that students care about and that the organizations are taking care of them is just very indicative of how your voice matters in more ways than you can think. Yes, you need to get involved, but you also need to take the surveys. The Springfest survey this year had more respondents in one day than the Springfest survey 3 years ago had in 3 weeks. We had over 1,000 people respond about the ban for Springfest, which is amazing because you guys are responding to something and then the Springfest committee will take that and plan a better event for the campus. I think it's been mentioned before that we have a student duty to get involved, and I think kudos to all of us for doing that, because you're here today. You're obviously getting involved. You're showing up to things like this. On the state of programming, in terms of programming, I think we're actually even over-programmed. We're at the point where we have so many student groups that you can get involved with. If you don't find one, there's one that you can create your own. There's a niche for everyone out there. What we need is more programming space on campus. I think everyone knows that we're running a little low. But what we can do, since we don't have those facilities, is collaboration. We can make bigger events. We can work together with other groups on campus, and we can form events like Springfest and collaborative events with Twink Study Over and all those events where we can work together and make a better event for the campus using combined resources rather than smaller events. We can go bigger. We can go better. We can leave things better than they were. I'd say compared to 4 years ago when I joined the campus, the perspective of students has changed so much. There was things on, when I came here, there were people who complained about how it was a boring campus or there weren't things to do. I would laugh in your face if you told me that to this day, because there's always something to do. 5 nights a week, you could probably find free food somewhere on this campus. There's got to be some event that's going on. So, yes, it's your student duty to get involved, but good job so far in getting involved, and good job in showing up to things like this. We're working together, and we're making Case a better place. College is supposed to be the best years of your life, so keep that in mind as you plan your events and as you work in your organizations. It is work, but it's also supposed to be fun. And if there's a way that you can make it a bigger event with more, and take a little bit of the work away from yourself by sharing that load, collaboration can make that happen, and we can all enjoy the rest of our years here at Case. Keep up the good work. Make sure that you leave Case a better place than when you came here, and good job so far.
All right, thanks, Ben. Okay, so I don't know if you all noticed, I didn't introduce myself in the beginning. I was waiting until now, because now I'll be giving you kind of a brief perspective on what some of your student leaders have identified as the top couple issues affecting undergraduates today. I'm Myles Nickolich, and I'm the Undergraduate Student Government President, and I spend most of my days, trying to improve the campus, and just along with all these other student leaders up here, we are trying to make Case a better place than when we first arrived. So the first topic that I'm going to talk about today specifically is student advising. So I'm going to give you kind of a brief background on our advising system. If you don't already know, most of the students should know, but I'm not sure if everyone else does. So as you know, students, we have several levels of advising here at Case. Our first experience with advising comes with the orientation program, where each of us are kind of given a faculty advisor from our intended field of study. After that, we're assigned our SAGES advisor, which is our SAGES professor in our first seminar, and who remains our advisor until the time when we decide to declare a major. So after we declare the major, we're assigned a faculty advisor from our department, our major department. And at this point, student experiences with advising seem to vary widely. Some students have excellent faculty advisors where the advisor is really well versed on courses, and the advisor has a really great history of providing students with the right information at the right time in their lives. Other students have advisors that are maybe a little newer and don't have all the information that the older advisors do have. And some students have advisors that just plain don't want to be advisors. Interlaced through our student advising system is the pre-professional advising program, which helps us really make decisions that relate to life after undergrad and to our intended career. So as you all know, academic success is an extremely important aspect of life at Case Western Reserve University. And over my years, I've heard a lot of concerns from students with respect to our advising program. And these concerns, while they certainly spread far and wide and seem to be taken out of each level of our advising program, all seem to have the same cause behind them, which is that our advisors don't always have the right information that we need when we're trying to make an important decision in our life, or our advisors don't have the proper resources to give us that decision. And I'm not implying that every advisor must know everything about everything that there is to know at the university, but our advisors should be equipped with the right knowledge to guide us through our undergraduate years. They should be able to make necessary connections with other people if we have questions that their advisors cannot answer. and our pre-professional advisors should have all the resources given to them so that they can best prepare us for life after undergrad. With our first-year advisors, perhaps better training, a comprehensive advising handbook, or maybe an up-to-date contact list may solve some of our issues. Departmental advisors should be provided with a wealth of knowledge pertaining to each advisor's specific major and should be able to comment on each of the each of the classes offered in his or her department. And we currently have some excellent pre-professional advisors, but we should also provide our pre-professional advising program with more resources to better meet the needs of our undergraduate population, which is currently the largest in CASE's history. I don't want to underestimate the duty that each of us as students have in our own advising experiences. Our own empowerment is an important and vital component of a successful advising program. If we are asking our university to work with us on this advising issue, we must also bring to the plate our willingness to use the resources the case offers to us. But we do need better access to these resources so that we may better understand all of our options. While academic advisors are the best places to go for answers, CASE should make all the printed or digital or virtual advising materials readily available to all students. So the next topic that I did want to talk about was tuition, but we do have a forum going on tomorrow at 12:30 in Strosacker Auditorium, which will be led by Provost Baslick, where he'll be announcing the tuition and room and board for next year. So instead of duplicating that information, I just wanted to direct you all to tomorrow's open forum and to, please come with questions and, please feel free to, bring up your point. So with that in mind, I wanted to move on to the third topic that I want to talk about today, which was our university ranking, which is something that's near and dear to our hearts. And for those of us who have been a few years or have just kind of been keeping track from a distance, you know that our university rankings have gone a little bit lower over the past couple years. And in the past 2 years, we've remained steady at 41 in the U.S. News and World Report rankings. So I wanted to kind of go over the basics with you, just so you kind of understand how each of these rankings are derived, and that you may better understand what the university is doing to improve in each of the areas. Now, I don't profess to be an expert on this ranking system, so kind of bear with me here. But each university in the ranking system is ranked based upon the qualities of peer assessment, retention, faculty resources, student selectivity, financial resources, graduation rate performance, and alumni giving. I'm going to give you kind of a brief overview of what we're doing with each of those points. So first with peer assessment, which is a category that makes up a whopping 25% of our overall score, which is also based most heavily on the comments and opinions of presidents and provosts and other administrators of other universities throughout the country. So consequently, we don't really have much direct control over this, and much of this category is really based upon how successful our university looks to the outside and to our peer institutions. And we took a big hit in this area over the past couple years just because of the financial crisis that we were in, and just problems and rankings always seem to go down when we have a big change in administration like we did a couple years ago. So the next category that I wanted to look at was retention, which makes up about 20% of the scores. And retention obviously is how well we retain students, and specifically first-year students coming back to their second year. Also, they look at the 6-year graduation rate of the university, and these are things that we're all working on and that are being addressed in our university strategic plan, which we're in currently the early implementation phase. But one of the big things that does go into this retention rate is student life, and that's something that I'll get back to very shortly. The next category in the rankings are faculty resources, which make up another 20% of the score. And in this category, we look at classroom resources, the proportion of small classes to large classes. Small classes are deemed under 20 students per class. Faculty salaries, number of faculty, and student-to-faculty ratio. So there are some obvious ways of improving this category, which would be to just raise everyone's salary and hire a bunch of people, but that's not exactly the best financial way to do things. We're really coming through in this category mainly because of the SAGES program and the sheer number of small classes that we have. Think of all those SAGES classes that each of you are in. with a cap at 17. That's really good for this program. And we also have a really good and low student-to-faculty ratio. So next is student selectivity, which is another category of the ranking system. It looks at SAT and ACT scores, and this is something that kind of suggests the selectivity of our undergraduate programs, and this is a section that our admissions team and new Vice President of Enrollment, Randy Dykey, are really working hard to improve. So right now, our mean SAT score is right around 1,300. We're looking at improving that over the next couple years, and as of right now, it looks like the class of 2013, the applicants do have a higher SAT score than we've seen in the past. And I do want to stress also that the admissions team does realize that SATs are not everything, that they're really looking for a group of individuals that really have made some excellent life achievements and can really add to the diversity of our environment here at Case. Next, financial resources. I won't go into detail on this, but it's basically the per student spending at the university, and graduation rate performance, which is the next category, which is directly affected by the advising program, which we've already talked about. And the final category is alumni giving, which is an area that we've really improved in over the past couple of years. I don't know about you, but when I first stepped foot on this campus, it was a different logo than when I arrived, and now it's even a different logo. We've gone from Case Western Reserve University to Case, kind of, and then back to Case Western Reserve University. And going back to Case Western Reserve University and creating our alumni house and just overall increasing interaction with alums from the university has really increased alumni giving, and we've even seen the highest attendance of alumni at Homecoming and Alumni Weekend in our recent history in this past year. So what's kind of the take-home message from all this ranking information? I know a lot of it's dense. So what I'm trying to say is ranking shouldn't be the be-all, end-all of anyone's college decision, college choice decision, but unfortunately it is, so we do have to pay attention to them as a university. While we certainly can't ignore these rankings, we, now that you know kind of how they're derived, should kind of look beyond just the rankings and look at all the specifics of what a university offers when you're looking for your next academic institution. That being said, our lowered rankings are still related to, very much so related to our financial crisis from a couple years ago, and these rankings aren't exactly looking at our university today. They're actually a couple years behind when they're released, so keep that in mind. So with that in mind, expect to see our rankings really going up here in the near future. So as I said before, one thing that I wanted to get back to is student life at the university. And the final thing that I want to talk about today is directly related to student life and academics and, well, pretty much everything else at this university, which is the master plan. So the last iteration of our master plan, which is basically a planning document of what needs to be built at the university, what needs to be done at the university, was released in 2005 and detailed the production of a number of things, just a few here, an entire new residential complex, creation of new teaching and learning and experiential learning facilities, construction of a new arts and retail district, and the unification of the campus through the campus center at the heart of campus. So we've already seen some of these improvements on campus, namely through the village, the binary walkway, which many of you walked into this building earlier today, and the development of the West Quad. And we're soon to see another aspect of this plan come into being, which is the Arts and Retail District, will be breaking ground very soon, actually, on the Triangle area near Euclid and Mayfield. But unfortunately, our past financial problems at the university and a lot of the economic downturn that we're in right now have, kind of slowed our progress on the master plan. So the aspect of the master plan that I really want to focus on specifically, and one that's near and dear to my heart, and that I've been working on for 4 years, is the campus center. So our current student center, which is Twing Center, was once named the Excelsior Club and was built in 1906, not as a student center. Hitchcock House was actually moved to where it is today and was added on to Twing Center through the atrium. Many of you may be thinking at this point, why would we need another Twing? And we really don't need too much more space, and can't we spend tens of millions of dollars on something a little more useful? And this is what I'm going to ask you to do right now. So I want you to get an image of Twink Center in your mind. Okay? Everyone have that image? I don't see any heads nodding. Yeah? Okay. So everyone has this image of Twink Center in their mind. Okay, now I want you to erase that image from Student Center, okay? And I want you to kind of take this journey with me, and I'll try to illustrate to you what I see in a new Student Center and what the planning team has seen in a new Student Center. So the first noticeable difference between our Twing Student Center and the new Campus Center is that the Campus Center is tailored to all constituencies of the university. So that means it's going to have all the bells and whistles of a student center, but it will also bring faculty and staff and visitors from around the university and visitors from University Circle into our student center so that you'll be able to interact with these individuals on a day-to-day basis. It will also incorporate lots of other services and classrooms and most of the resources so that you can interact with these individuals from outside the university. So let me give you kind of a brief image of where we left off 2 years ago, where the last push of the Campus Center, which started about 20 years ago now, we halted in the architect selection process 2 years ago. And the current plans detailed the building going somewhere behind Twing Center, where Twing Center is right now, located in sandwich kind of between Calvin Smith Library and the Mather Dance Center. So if you have that location in mind, we would also be keeping intact Freiberger Field and renovating Twing Center according to the plans that we looked at 2 years ago. We'd also thought about connecting KSL, the new Campus Center, and Twing together through sky bridges or some sort of connection system, basically bringing together this heart of campus idea so that all of these resources are right there and connected in one building. It would also have a food court, and I think I smell Chipotle somewhere in this food court. Lots of meeting space for your student organizations, tons of student services. The Inamori Center would be moving over to the new space, and bear with me here, we even talked about getting a holodeck. Does everyone know what a holodeck is? Okay. So sorry about those of you who aren't Trekkies like myself, but basically what I'm trying to say is this building will be chock full of the newest technologies so that we as students would be able to interact with our fellow students and professors and pretty much anyone else at the university so we can better learn, better entertain and enjoy ourselves at Case and better interact with each other at Case. So overall, this building would have everything that you would ever want or need in the university kind of in one place. And you would be able to interact with your fellow students, and it will improve your life at Case Western Reserve University. So what can we do as students? We can get excited about it. We can spread the word about this campus center and the master plan, and we can ask to be involved in the planning process. Make sure that your voice is being heard. So speaking of voices being heard, you've probably heard enough of my voice for today. And at this point, we're going to kind of switch gears a little bit and allow each of your voices to be heard. And we're going to move into a question and answer session with each of the student leaders up here. So feel free to ask any question that you may like. We'll try to answer as best as we can. Unfortunately, we don't have all the answers to things, but we will be able to give you what we know. So at this point, we'll go into the Q&A session. We'll have 2 microphones going around the audience. If you just would raise your hand if you'd like to ask a question, we'll be up at the front to answer the questions, and you guys will be you'll have a microphone at your disposal. So thank you.
Yeah, I'm Keith Lupton, junior engineering physics. I'm on USG. I was just wondering, you were talking about the student center. How much is the projected cost of that student center, and how do we expect to get that money?
That's a very good question. It's not exactly $5. It's more like I believe the last number was $40 million. Is that right? I'm seeing some head shaking. Yeah, so around $40 million. Most of that wouldn't be, coming out of our tuition or anything. Most of that would be raised through, giving and the development department here at Case. Most of it would be donations.
Jeff, junior aerospace engineer. I have a question for the residents and housing. You mentioned that there would be like plain dressed officers walking around northern, middle, and southern campus. and that we should get to know them. How will we get to know them if we don't know that they're officers? Will there be like meetings for like Greek life, housing, and like the campus housing to meet these people?
That's a really good question. I would definitely say part of it is that if they are in your residential or Greek house, going to talk to them. One, if they don't look like a student, you should probably ask them what they're doing there anyway, because you shouldn't do tailgating. But also kind of asking them, why are they a part of your community? They will probably be wearing some sort of outfit on some cases. They have their own, it's a more plainclothes officer look, but it is still a definite officer attire. So you will be able to notice them. So I would say just for the new community police officers as well as for all of the police officers, that you should probably get to know them. They're your friends.
Is there a date in the upcoming future when the new student center would be ready?
As of right now, we don't have an official date, unfortunately.
I think it depends on the event. We're going to try to market more to non-Greeks, things like our faculty forum. We want to really get the word out about. Other than that, we have a calendar on the Greek Life website that you guys are always welcome to look at. And hopefully we'll just try to make ourselves more visible. We're really going to step up the PR, I think. Do you have?
To that end, you're always welcome to invite your friends. You're Sigma Nu, so I mean, there's no reason why you can't say, hey, buddies, let's head on over to this other event. It begins with interaction between the chapters, and if that community is well formed, it's easier for people outside the community to come in and join in, I think.
Speaking of this stuff, Myles mentioned the arts, I don't know what you called it, district, sort of where the triangle is. On February 11th, if you're interested in that, at one of our meetings of IFC and Panhell together, we're having a speaker come tell us more and give us an update on that project. So February 11th, 8 o'clock in Rockefeller 301 if you want to come.
Hi, Alex Engel. I'm a senior biomedical engineering student. So the greenies, we've tried to make the greenies better with, the little screens saying how much time is left, but they're still way more unreliable than when I got here. And I could always, when I was a freshman, I could always expect the greenie to be there every 20 minutes or something. But now nobody even uses them because they're so unreliable. So what are we doing to improve that so that they're actually something that the students can use to get to classes?
That's something that I've worked on since we both arrived at the university. So I don't know if you guys knew about the Greedy Improvement Initiative that came out of USG at the end of last year. We recommended a bunch of changes for all the routes. So out of that initiative, we were able to change the north route and the south route for evening routes, as well as add a few stops on the commuter shuttle. We weren't, however, able to change anything on the Circle Link. The reason for that being is that the Circle Link is paid for basically by around 20 institutions, University Circle, and in order to change anything on any of the Circle Link route, we have to talk to each of those institutions. Now, I will say that I started an initiative 2 years ago to talk to those institutions, and we heard from about 3 of them. The other ones thought that we were just, students trying to mess up something, I don't know, and wouldn't respond to us. But we are currently looking at how we can better interact with these institutions to really make sure that we can change the Circle Link route. Now, I will give you guys a point of advice. The route that runs the shortest time is the commuter route. And going into the resolution last year with kind of the problems with Circle Link in mind, we added a lot of routes on the commuter route that directly overlap with Circle Link. So if you guys see a commuter shuttle, get on the commuter shuttle. It's a 14-minute cycle for the whole campus. So if you're trying to go to class during the day, get on the commuter cycle or the commuter shuttle. And at night, use the north and south loop greenies as well as you can. North loop is, I think, around a 14 or 15-minute cycle, and south loop is around a 21-minute cycle now. And it'll take you all through Coventry to Dave's Market and back to Southside.
And also to the point about reliability, Case's security has really stepped up in terms, if you let them know that a greenie hasn't arrived whenever it should have. I know a story, there were a group of people that were stuck at one of the stops and the greenie never showed up and they called security and they immediately sent a private shuttle that picked them up and took them to all of their dorms. So I think security has really responded well to students whenever, if you're waiting at night for a greenie and it never shows up, let security know and then they can work at dealing with it. If it goes unreported, then it's going to be hard to fix the problem.
And if you guys do have any issues with the greenie system, feel free to contact anyone on USG or to use the email hotline. It's uhcwrushuttle@standardparking.com. They have little stickers inside the buses now. So.
I have a question for housing. I was wondering why Greeks who live in university-owned and university-operated houses don't get points for living in the village as upperclassmen, because it really puts a disadvantage of people who are either forced or want to live in a Greek house for 1 year to live in a village housing opportunity the next year, since they're no longer considered having lived on campus, even though we still pay dorm rates.
I'm really glad you brought that up. Actually, we're currently working on this right now. A group of students in Greek Life, USG, and the Residence Hall Association are working with the room selection committee to come up with kind of an amenable change that will benefit all of campus. Currently, the only change that will be going into effect for the 2009 room selection, which all of you should be putting in your housing selection things by March 16th, is the fact that transfer students will be getting just a baseline of 2 points, so that way they can be a more active participant in the process and kind of give them equal playing field. For Greeks and for co-ops, for students going on junior year abroad, we are still working with Student Affairs and the Housing Selection Committee to come to the best decision that will benefit all the students of the university. So we're working on that right now, and any change that would happen would be made for the spring 2010 lottery. Well, that is for 2 reasons. One, it's not really for the benefit, I believe, and I think Greek Life agrees, for the university to kind of split up what houses are university owned and what houses are privately owned and what houses are leased. Not all of the Greek houses are run through the university housing process the same way, and by splitting up that type of differentiation, I think would be detrimental to the Greek houses, thereby splitting up the Greek community as a whole. Also, the reason why currently housing has only students living in housing have received points is because we have a very distinct housing process. You have a first-year experience, a second-year experience, and an upper-class experience. And in the past, you have received points for living and being a participant in those experiences. Currently, what the group of students and group of administrators that are looking at is what is for the best experience? What creates the best upper class and second year and first year experiences for our students? Is it kind of collaborating with all of the experiences or just looking at a housing experience? We are really trying to make sure that all of the resident experience and all of the housing experiences of the university kind of facilitate for a university community experience. So that's why we're looking at the changes now, and that's what the group of students and group of administrators are working on.
I'm a student that definitely, if I heard more about those statistics about our sports teams, I would make more of an effort to go to all those events. Yeah. Is there any way that you would recommend getting those out, like, when the sports events are and all that, so that way more students will actually come?
Yeah, well, I'm actually not a part of CASA, which is the leadership committee for all the sports activities teams, but we have done tailgates for a lot of sports events. I guess UPB also does a lot of that stuff too. So
I was just going to talk about Blue Crew is the best way, and I was on CASA. So Blue Crew was initiated to get more students involved. And for instance, there's a game on Friday at 7 o'clock, and I'm fairly certain if you join Blue Crew, there's free pizza. So it's an event, it's an organization that you can join. I think you can join at any point throughout the year, and you get benefits like free pizza or like premium seating at games and stuff like that, and they send you emails that's like, oh, don't forget, basketball game tonight. So, and that's a really easy thing to get involved with. That's really, I guess, targeted a lot towards the freshmen that are coming in, but it should be targeted more towards the entire campus. So, if you go on the athletics website, or I think there's a reference to it.
pretty much the stadium is a beautiful place to go to, and I mean also the Veal Center is a nice basketball court. Just go, and the swimming pool too. Yeah, that's right.
Also, The Observer has a sports section, which is the last 4 pages that you could always check out every Friday.
Also, I always find out about how awesome our football team is from Case Daily, but that's kind of after the fact.
My question was, How far into fundraising are you for the Arts and Retail District and the Sports Center, the Student Center? And also, do you have any fundraising events planned for the near future?
I just real quick will tell you what I know about the Arts District, which I've always heard of it as the Uptown Project. I was told last fall that they wanted to break ground at the end of this spring if they could get enough pre-sales of, there will be like condos and apartments involved, so if they could pre-sell enough condos, then they would try to do that, and that's how they're going to get their base money. I think the money for that project is already there, but that I think that probably with the economy, that date might get pushed back.
And from what I understood, it's not actually being financed very much or at all by the university. Is that correct? Okay. Yeah. President Snyder is shaking her head yes. So it's coming from an outside development firm, actually, I believe 2 firms, which are putting together the whole kind of arts and retail district. One of them that has more of a retail background and one of them that has more of a residential background. And just to kind of give you guys a better illustration of what this district will be, it'll lay on each side of Euclid Avenue over by the Triangle. And if you guys were wondering why McDonald's closed down and Mr. Hero closed down, that's kind of why. But in that area, you'll see kind of new restaurants on the ground level and then apartments and condos above the ground level. I'm not completely sure how tall the buildings are, but I believe they're like 4 or 5 stories tall.
Yeah, I'm Joe Karras. I'm a sophomore polymers engineering major. With regard to those apartments and condos that you were just speaking about in the arts and retail district, are those planned to be student friendly, off-campus housing options, or are we looking more to?
Yeah, they're going to be, the idea is that they'll be geared towards students and the professionals living in this area, young professionals, I believe, and that, because we have such a, high professional, healthcare population here, especially, that many of the younger professionals would want to, live in these housing options. That being said, they'll be competitively priced with the village for undergrads as well, so that they will be open to all of us if we so choose. They won't be a part of the housing selection process, though. As of right now, it's not in the plans, at least. So it will, kind of take you outside the housing selection process if you, would need to do that, or just for your information if you do want to get in the village.
Hi, Martha. I'm a junior mathematics major, and I'm also involved with the band. And I know over this past summer, part of Wade was turned into a large practice room for the case Symphonic Winds. And some people were upset by that because the study spaces were taken away. Has there been any push to try to get a center for practicing and performance added to any of these structures you're talking about building, like the student center or anything?
Yes, that's something that I personally have been pushing for a long time, and administration knows that this is a place that we're really hurting in right now. We don't have a proper facility to have our orchestra concerts or to have big stage productions. What we have right now in Twing Ballroom just isn't the best venue for this. So yes, we know about it, and USG's been pushing for it as well. That would be, I believe, phase 2 of the Campus Center project. So I didn't want to go into all the details and bore you guys on the Campus Center, but in the original master plan, there was a phase 1 and a phase 2 of the Campus Center, and phase 2 is Performing Arts Center. But that is, we're working on getting the Campus Center right now, so keep that in mind.
Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm a second-year math major, and I was wondering if there are any new initiatives to get Cleveland and Case more connected, because we're here in the context of the university, but also in the context of the city.
We'll share this one. I know that there's plenty of groups on campus that are making an effort to make this happen. Greek Life is definitely doing that, so I'll pass the mic down in a second. But also, the University Program Board has done an effort to do that as well with our events like the Cavs tickets and museum tickets and concerts downtown. Last year we sponsored play tickets to some of the Playhouse Square opportunities. The best way that we know that you want that is to let us know through surveys and through emails that that's something that there's a strong need for. When we put the Cavs tickets on sales this week, they sold out in less than a half hour. So that's obviously something that people are interested in. If we could do that for playoff square tickets and they sold out in a half hour, that'd be amazing too. So definitely that's great feedback, and Kathy will talk a little bit more about what they're doing as well.
Okay, so this is one of the goals that my exec board has been talking about, and we really would like to start a program that will be like an Explore Cleveland kind of thing, because as students we have access to so many things for free in this area that like I personally have never really utilized to its full extent. So we're kind of hoping that the plan is every couple of weeks we'll try to just plan an event to go to, the Rock Hall or Botanical Gardens or something, and essentially just try to get people to come out and enjoy Cleveland more, because it definitely is part of a good college experience, I think, is knowing the city that you're in. So you should all come to our Exploring Cleveland stuff. Yeah.
WREW, which is the Case radio station, part of Media Board, consists of about half community members. So if you're looking for an activity where you can interact with community members, that's a good idea.
Also, utilizing the Office of Community Service, CECL, which is in the basement of Twing, would also give you a community service opportunity to interact with the community and kind of benefit the community as well.
I also wanted to put in a plug for the free access program, which you get free access to pretty much everything in University Circle. And you can even get free orchestra tickets if you enter the drawing in the Student Affairs Department every week. And I'll tell you that not many people enter that drawing enough that you can get tickets fairly often if you enter every week. So I've seen some excellent concerts for free, and it's one of my favorite memories of my undergraduate years here at Case. So take advantage of all the free access resources. If you go to case.edu and search free access, it gives you a page with just a listing of everything that you can go to for free.
I mean, University Circle is such a nice place, and Case is such a nice resource for us, but we also have to realize that we have to get involved and give back to the community that's nearby. I mean, East Cleveland's right there. Personally, I volunteer at the free clinic sometimes. You got to do your part to actively volunteer and a lot of those things. But I remember also in terms of helping disadvantaged kids, I know that the athletic department had a club, an event where they just had a whole bunch of kids and they taught them a whole bunch of sports, and it was just really fun. And I mean, if you can support those, go to those, that'd be great, I'm sure.
In addition to that, how many of you have said, whenever people have talked about Cleveland and you've rolled your eyes, you talked about the snow and how bad Cleveland is, but how many of you have actually gone out and experienced the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, the restaurants downtown and stuff like that? I think that's the best way, Dustin has. I think that's the best way to really be a beacon for Cleveland, is to experience all those things. And when parents of incoming students come up to you and say, oh, what's there fun to do in Cleveland? And you say, not the snow. I mean, that's not the best message for Cleveland. That's not the best message for Case. I mean, being knowledgeable about the best museum that you've gone to, or you've gone to this one, it wasn't as good as the other one, but they have a great exhibit, or being knowledgeable about the best restaurant in Cleveland, which is Hot Sauce Williams, but or Fat Fish Blue, Having that knowledge base and just experiencing those things is really, I think, the best way, so that when people come up and like, oh, you live, Mistake by the Lake, and you say, no, you got the wrong city. That was before. And then you can, what's that? Oh, that was actually, whatever. But definitely get involved and definitely be knowledgeable enough to talk about it with incoming students, parents, prospective students, your friends, your family. Like that, I think that's definitely the best way that we can do it. By the way, Restaurant Week is coming up. Throwing that out there for everyone. If you've never been to a restaurant downtown, Restaurant Week has price fixed menus. Just a little plug for Cleveland.
Basically, get excited for Cleveland. And use your RTA pass, too.
Hi, I'm Miriam Posner. I know a lot of you. I'm a junior political science and English major, and I'm also the president of the junior class. And this is really regarding class and campus unity. In talking with other students around campus, I know that a main concern of a lot of people is the division of dorms, being on south side and north side, really, to Grace, having like majorly dividing the campus. And I know pretty much anyone who's ever been a sophomore really knows that. And is there any effort being made to unify the dorms? I know maybe around the student center that's being built or anything like that to help solve that.
This kind of goes along with the master plan. There is a dream, I guess you could say, out there that kind of will unify the undergraduate population, create a Greek center, create an undergraduate living center, build second-year residence halls on the north side of campus, near the first-year residence halls, build new first-year residence halls. However, that's kind of a plan as it currently stands. Currently, we have a split campus, and part of it has to do with our history and how we united 4 different ways or so. But I think the benefit is that you get to experience 2 very distinct living possibilities, so I think students should at least enjoy that part until the dream comes to realization.
Yeah, and I'm sure you know, considering you're a class officer, and we deal a lot with class unity and bringing the class together, and certainly sophomores are at a disadvantage because a lot of their class is in Clark and a lot of their class is on South Side, so they got to really do programming that somehow can combine those people somewhere in between sometimes, because I know it's real trouble having everybody go across campus for an event. So they try to really work and try to bring the class together with that. So
we don't really have a forum for all of the student organization presidents from a certain section to get together. So that's a great point, and we'll definitely think about implementing that for this year. But I can say that we do have one organization that comes to mind specifically that has been kind of a conglomerate, and that's the health organizations have joined together to form the Panhealth Board, which is basically the leaders from each of the health organizations on campus so that they can better coordinate what they're doing and not ask the med students to come to 6 different medical school mixers with undergrads. So it's working in that way, so it's a very good point, and we'll definitely, consider that too. Yes.
In addition to that, the Student Leadership Conference, it might be too late to propose a new program this year or this semester, but they frequently have, or it's at least once a semester, and they've had some great programs in the past. And if you wanted to lead one or suggest one, they've been very receptive to suggestions for different programs to have and different workshops to have. And actually, students can co-present with a faculty member on that. So if someone wanted to lead something like that, it would be very easy to get that started. So I'm not sure if it's too late to get that implemented for this one, which is next weekend, the Spring Leadership Conference and Life Skills. But it's too late. But next semester, that's a great idea, and we can pass on that feedback and see if they can just get started on that right now.
Hi, I'm Jasmine. I'm a senior psych pre-med. And my question, I have kind of 2 combined in one. The residential area that will be all of campus, is that including like a Greek road? Because I know it's the Office of Housing, Residence Life, and Greek Life, or is that something completely separate? Like the housing idea of having all housing on one side of campus, is that including putting Greek Row in that area, or is that completely different?
Yeah, it includes both. I mean, they wouldn't be in the exact same location.
Right, but
yeah.
Including that. And then my second question to this is then, will the residential project be before the new student center, or will it be after? Or
the new student center would be first to benefit all of the students of the campus, including graduate students and undergraduate students, and then the housing program would be second, potentially third after the music center.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, well, thank you all for attending. I really appreciate that all of you came out on this rather, cold and blustery day to really, let your voice be heard and hear about what's going on at the university. We're going to do a quick plug for each of our organizations, just with date and time of meetings, if you guys are interested in coming to any of them. But basically, I hope what you've gotten out of this is that there are a lot of students at CASE that really care about improving your undergraduate experience, and we have a great leadership team in administration really working to improve your experience here at CASE too. So I guess I'll start. USG has a General Assembly meeting every Tuesday night at 7 in Adelbert Hall. It's the 2nd floor of the Topfer Room. It's a wonderful place. If you've never been in Adelbert Hall, I trust you. I trust me that it's not scary in there, and students are allowed to walk in. So feel free to walk in.
Again, University Program Board, we have meetings every Monday at 7 p.m. in the basement of Twing. If you've never been to our office, just step by sometime. There's always someone there doing something. You can ask us questions, suggest ideas. Our website's a great resource, upb.case.edu. We have a Google Calendar, so if you want to know about our events but you don't want to go to our website, you can just add it to your Google Calendar or your Outlook calendar. And definitely there's going to be a survey coming out in the next week about ideas for new events. So if you have about getting more involved in Cleveland, or if you have any feedback on our events in the past, send them our way, and that's our goal, is to respond to that feedback as quickly as possible. So come to UPB.
For the Residence Hall Association, our general body meets Mondays at 9:30 in Nord 410, which is on the quad, so I know it's a little bit of a hike. But for those of you who live in the residence halls, there's also community councils that meet every week, so feel free to email us at case-rha@case.edu to find out the time for your community council.
The class officers meet in the Cleveland room in Twing because we don't have our own office yet. And those are on Tuesday nights. And just keep your eye out for class emails. There's a lot of events that your class is having. Also, website is on the student activities website. You can go to that and check out our events. But Snowball's coming up on the 20th of February. So
Media Board meets once a month in Schwen. Those dates change, it varies. So check our website. It's studentaffairs.case.edu/mediaboard. If anyone ever has any complaints or things they want to see in our publications, feel free to email those editors. They're there for a reason. Feel free to email me if you want to learn more about how to join organizations. It's mediaboard-chairman@case.edu.
All right, the next big thing Greek Life is going to have is our joint meeting between IFC and Panhell. That'll be the 11th of February at 8 o'clock in Rockefeller 301. This is going to be the event where we're having the speaker come in to talk about the Uptown project.